Welcome learners. I am Dr. Rakhi Sharma from School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Learners, in today's session I am going to discuss about the grid management, which comes under the power distribution system. So this is a very important topic which we are going to discuss in today's online session. So first of all, you should know what is grid. Under the grid management, there are few questions which comes in your mind, that these are: what is a grid, what is grid management, and what does grid management involve. So we will discuss these questions in our session. So first of all, I am going to discuss about the what is grid. This is a very popular word which when we discuss about the power distribution network or power network from generation to up to the end user, generation, transmission, distribution and up to the end user. Then one word which comes in our life, that which is the grid. So what is this? So you all know that the power system has a generating unit to generate electrical energy which is consumed at the load, and this energy cannot be stored just like other energy, because the huge amount of energy is generated at the generating station. So you cannot store this energy, it has to be consumed at the same instant. Some of the energy you can store, but in such a bulk amount you cannot have this kind of storage device. That means you have to consume whatever you are generating. Since the load is not concentrated at one place and it is not possible to have a generator very close to the load center all the times, so what we do? So we go for the transmission lines, so which facilitate the transmission of power from generator to load, and thus all generation units and load centers are connected and a grid is formed. A grid is, that means this is the interconnection of networks. So the grid is basically what? A connection of generating stations, substations and load through transmission lines at the voltage level above the distribution voltage. Generally when we talk about the grid, we talk about some higher voltage side, that means above the distribution voltages. So all the network, all the interconnected network which is connecting the generating station, substation and the load, that through the transmission line or voltage above the distribution voltage is grid. So distribution voltage, however, is not strictly defined, that at what voltage level, 33, 11, 66 or 220 kilovolt. So it is different for different areas. For example, some distribution system power is taken at 33 kilovolt. In some it can be at 66 kilovolt. So this above voltage, above the distribution voltage, all system is formed grid. So the standard definition of the grid is given by the Electricity Act 2003, which defined the grid as the high voltage backbone system of interconnected transmission lines, substations and generating plants. So this is called grid. Now what are the advantages of a grid? So whenever we talk about the grid, that what advantages we can get it. The first is reliability, then stability and economy. That means the grid gives us the reliable system, stable system and economic system. How? When we talk about the reliability, the system is more reliable, the grid system, it is more reliable since we can serve the load in more than one way. That means interconnection of the system is there, generating station and is connected to the load by some transmission lines, and one load can be connected to in various way to the through transmission line. So the system, it can make the system more reliable. That means we can serve that load through more than one ways. That means one system is failed and we can serve the system by another way. So as a result, even if one generation unit fails, the rest can be shared the its load. Stability. So how it is advantageous, we can say that the system becomes more stable as the chances of fault distributing the whole system become less. So this is the one advantage. Then economy. In a grid, the cost required is lesser than a dedicated system. Dedicated system means which is exclusive a system which is where the generation is directly connected to the load. But here, when we form the grid, the system becomes economic. That means it requires a lesser cost required is lesser than a dedicated system. Since we can say that installed capacity is required as well as lesser spinning reserve is involved when we form the grid. Now, what is regional and state grid in India? So you should have some idea about this. That in 1960, India was demarcated into the 5 electrical regions. These regions are northern regions, southern region, eastern region, western region, and northern eastern region. So basically, these were divided for planning, development, and operation of the power system with regional self-sufficiency. Each region will is capable of handling its requirement. So accordingly, there were 5 electrical regions. So as on date, we have 3 synchronous power systems, or we can say that northern, central, or this central means western region, eastern region, and northeastern region, and the southern region. So the bulk power is transfer is possible among the regional grids. From one regional grid, the power can be transferred to the another regional grid, northern to central, central to southern, like this. So the transfer of power among the regional grids is possible through this inter-regional grids. The state grid is also there. The state grid of each state is connected to regional grid for state power exchanges. So like this, the grid system is here in India. So now, what is the grid management? Why do we need the grid management? So we will. So grid management, as a term implies, is managing the grid. What is the need for managing the grid? So you all questions will be answered in the coming part of this session. So this grid management consists online real-time operation of the grid as well as offline operational planning. So when we talk about the real-time operation of the grid, it looked after by the load dispatch center. So you have heard about that one is generator, that the transmission system is there, then distribution is there, and in between there is a load dispatch center. Load dispatch center is the system operator. How this power is transferred, what quality of the power will be transferred, and how much power will be transferred. So what are the different parameters? So this all are looked after by this load dispatch center. And as per the requirement, the load or power is dispatched. So the real-time operation is looked after by the load dispatch center. So load dispatching, as a name implies, involves the dispatching of load or dispatching of power from generator to load. And this is done through the transmission system. Load dispatch center is basically a round the clock, you can say, control room. Which is meant by the grid operators or load dispatchers. That means the grid operators are there, which just control which just look after that control room and see the various parameters which are involved in during the load this grid management. So this grid operator who operates the grid by giving instruction to the personnel of the concerned generators and substation. So how they grid operators perform their task? That means they have to coordinate with the concerned generators, because the power is to be distributed among the various substations or load. So, and that means the power is generating from the generators. So this complete system control, that means they have to coordinate with the generators also, generating stations also, and they have to coordinate with the substations also. So load dispatch center constantly observes the grid parameters and tries to ensure good grid operation. And the operation planning is the planning which is done in advance in order to ensure generation matches the load at all the times. That means we know that the whatever the power requirement, so it should met by the generation. That means generating station should deliver that power which is required by the load. So it is very important that comes under the operational planning. So the load matches the generation at all the time. Then second is that the voltage profile at all the points of the grid remains within the acceptable limit. It is very essential aspect. That means when we discuss about the stability of the system and other aspects related to the system, it's essential that voltage profile should maintain constant. So voltage profile at all the points is constant and it should be within the limit. It is also looked after by these load dispatch center. Then none of the transmission line or interconnecting transformers get overloaded. If the requirement is high, then they may be overloaded. So this need to be taken care. Then grid operates in stable manner. There is no power swings. This comes under the operational planning for the good grid operation. So operational planning also involves coordination of protection of grid so that only the faulted element gets isolated and remaining grid continues to operate in a satisfactory manner. That means when this is the interconnection of the network, if some part gets failed, then how it can be removed and without affecting the other parts. So this is also the part of the operation planning. Now, as I discussed that what are the two major players for the grid management. So these are the regional load dispatch centers and state load dispatch centers. State load dispatch center which coordinate with the regional load dispatch center. So these two are the very important aspects. Suppose that for the state requirement, for the state power requirement, that the state load dispatch center look after all the activities, and then as per the requirement, it gives requirement to the load dispatch this regional load dispatch center. So it coordinates with the for more requirement. So the grid management in our country is done by the we can say from the regional load dispatch center, which is also called RLDC, and state load dispatch center. So one is at regional level and one is at the state level. So each state and central generating stations and independent power producers are treated as a constituents of a region. Now, what are the objectives of grid management? So if we say the prime objective of grid management means facilitate the transfer of power within or across the regions with reliability, grid security, economy and quality in the electrical supply. So this need to be taken care. So these are the major objectives of the grid management while operation of the regional and national power grids. So reliability comes with integrated grid operation for smooth evacuation of the power from generating station and delivery at the state periphery. That means we would like to get the power as per the state requirement, we would like to get the power from the generating station and it should be delivered to the states. So that kind of this complete operation should be smooth. So it is the part of the load dispatch center that they should see that the generating station is properly able to deliver that power, or it is to be met by some other source. So the system is should be reliable and it comes with this smooth operation. Then security, grid security comes by maintaining the system parameters. What are these parameters? These are the frequency, bus voltage, line loadings and transformer loadings within the permissible limits. You all know that these parameters are very important and these should be within the limit. Generator is generating some power at generating station. it is at some constant voltage and frequency, and this generator is connected to the grid. That means so this should, the frequency and the voltage, it should match. So for the smooth operation and the stable operation, this comes under the grid security. So the observation of that maintaining of these parameters, frequency, bus voltage, line loadings and transformer loading, and all within the permissible limit. So we can say that it involves the stable and smooth operation of the grid, like that is the minimum interruption of the power. This can be through tripping of a single grid element like generator, transmission lines, interconnecting transformers, HVDC back-to-back pole, or the grid disturbances involving tripping of a large number of grid elements simultaneously, or even a total blackout, because it is very essential that these keep these parameters in permissible limit to save the system. Otherwise, it is very harmful if these parameters go beyond their limits. It can completely destroy the system. Then economy. Economy comes by the merit of generation, because this grid system is connected with the various generating stations and connected to the loads through the transmission network. So which generating station is to be used for, at what time it is to be used for delivering the power to the load or other substation. So these all aspects are also be taken care while the grid management. The merit order of the generation which is to be used, then optimization of the hydro resources, like during the peak condition, which station to be used, then minimization of the losses and judicious inter-regional exchanges. So it is all look after. It should be looked after for optimum operation or economic operation. It envisaged by getting the cheapest power to the customer. That means what our aim? Our aim is, as a customer or stakeholder, that we should get the cheap power. So this, so which generating plant will deliver and how it will be delivered, at what time it will deliver. So this all aspects need to be covered to get the cheapest power to the consumer through minimization of the transmission losses and ensuring that the cheapest generation is used first. There may be thermal, there may be hydro, there may be other kind of things. So we have to see that as per the tariff requirement, as per the availability of the plant, and as per the state requirement, which is to be used first, and then which is to be next. Suppose some costly generation is there, so it all comes under, it all need to be managed, and because to make the system economic. So we were discussing the grid management and the objectives of the grid management. One is that quality power should be transferred within and between the regional grids. So what are the different parameters, quality parameters in electrical supply? These are the frequency, voltage and harmonics. How can we judge that the power or energy, electrical energy, which is being transferred from here to there, it is a quality power or not? So these three parameters indicate us regarding the quality, and these need to be managed while the grid management for getting the quality power. So bulk of the electrical energy generated by three-phase synchronous generator. You all know about this in the generating power plant, that this synchronous generator is used. And before a synchronous generator can be connected to a grid, 4 conditions must be satisfied. What are these? That means the generator voltage must have same phase sequence as grid voltage. As I discussed earlier, that there should be a synchronization between the synchronous generator and this system voltage, and they all should work at same frequency. That means that generator voltage have the same frequency as of grid. All the places the frequency should be same. Then have amplitude, voltage amplitude. I am saying that voltage amplitude at its terminal as one of the grid voltage. So this voltage amplitude also should be matched. Then that generator voltage be in phase with the grid voltage. So these matching is is required for the quality power supply or for security of the grid or security of the system. So when the generator is connected to the large grid, its output voltage and frequency, they are logged to the system values and cannot be changed by any generator action. And we say that generator is connected to infinite bus. So this word you have heard about, that the generator is connected to the large grid, and the parameters are these voltage and the frequency. They cannot be they are logged, and that means it should match the system grid voltage and the frequency, and the generator voltage and frequency. So we can say that it is connected to a infinite bus. That means an ideal voltage source with a fixed voltage amplitude and frequency. So if we talk about the frequency, what is this? This is a global phenomenon. In the case of the grid, you can say that it is same at all the points of the grid. So which is operating in synchronous operation. The frequency is an indication of balance between the generation and load in a grid. That means you can easily judge if there is any unbalance between the generation of the power and the load demand, or the power which is being extracted or which is being given to the substation or load. So if there is any disbalance or between these two, that load and the demand and this supply and the generation and the load in a grid, then it will be indicated by the frequency, deviation in the frequency. How? If the generation exactly matches the load, whatever you are generating, and it is being the load connected in the system is same, that means the generation can match the load. So in that case, the frequency would be the nominal frequency, which is 50 Hertz. But if the generation is more than the load or more than the power which is in the requirement in the grid, then as a whole, the system frequency, we can say, would be greater than the 50 Hertz. Frequency will deviate, and if the generation is more than the load, that means frequency will be greater than the 50 Hertz. It can be 51 Hertz, which is not desirable. Then third, if the generation is less than load, if our that means demand is high, load is high, that connected load are high, but the generation is not matching that load requirement, in that case what will happen? That system frequency would be less than 50 Hertz. So it can be the 49 or it can be 49.5, like this. So this kind of parameters is indicating that there is some trouble, and it should be the frequency should be maintained at 50 Hertz or nominal value, so which indicate about the quality of the power supply. Then the voltage is a local phenomenon. It can be different at different points of the grid. So we can say that their grid operator has to ensure that the proper voltage profile is maintained at all the points of the grid. So we can say that for ensuring the proper voltage profile, when we talk about the voltage profile should be matched. That means the generator is giving some supply, and the load is extracting that or it is giving to the, as per the load requirement, it is giving the supply. Suppose this load is inductive load, or it can be the capacitive load, resistive load. So generally the inductive load or reactive loads, we say they cause the deviation in the voltage profile. So it is necessary that that voltage profile should be maintained. So to ensure the voltage profile, the capacitor or reactors are installed at the different points of the grid. If it is observed that the voltage is low at particular point in the grid, that means the capacitors are installed at that point. Why? The capacitor provide reactive power to inductive loads, and because generally the voltage low, because of because lot of inductive loads are there, the high the consumers are there which using the large machines, so they may require the inductive load. That means they need the reactive power. So what will happen? That it will be the load will try to extract its power from the line or from the supply. So it can cause more losses, or because of this reactive current, or more ohmic losses can be there, which can be caused by the reactive current, or you can say that it can disturb the power factor also. So we use the capacitor provide the reactive power to the inductive load. So in general, you have seen that various capacitor banks are installed in between the lines near the load or near the transformers, like this. So because they are meeting the reactive power requirement which is needed by the inductive load to balance and making and balancing the system, and so this is also called the reactive power compensation. You will when you will learn more, then you will come to know about all these aspects. Then similarly, if the voltage is observed to be high, then as per the studies, then reactors are installed at that point. So the basic purpose of these elements, reactive element or capacitive element, so these are to ensure that the reactive power requirement of the load or transmission line is met. And this reactive power is caused by because whenever we connect the large machines, inductive, that suppose transformer, big motors are there, so they need this reactive power for magnetic field, generating the magnetic field. So this should be met by these elements to save our lines or upper supply system. So beside this, there are other voltage phenomena like unbalanced voltage in the three-phase system, voltage dip. You have heard about all these things. Then voltage unbalance is what? Voltage unbalance in a grid could be caused due to the tripping of one of the phase of a transmission line, or due to unbalanced load in three-phase, so emanating from the distribution system or bulk loads. So that voltage unbalance can be there because of this unbalanced load. Then voltage dip can be there. The voltage dip, on the other hand, we can say that the transient phenomenon, and generally it is caused by the fault or tripping of element at a remote location. When you just use the circuit breakers and switching elements, then suddenly you can, that transient, you can see that the voltage dip sometimes it can be there. So this is or some transient faults are there. So this caused the voltage dip. Then stormy weather could also cause a flashover between the arcing horns resulting the voltage dip. Then other is this component is harmonics, which comes under this quality of the electrical supply. It can also be judged by the harmonics. So it should be the harmonic should not be there. So basically, harmonic is recently becoming an issue of the modern world. Why? Because we are using a lot of electronic devices. So, and because of this, what happened, that number of electronic devices connected in the grid as well as in the distribution system, so they are producing the harmonics. And because it converts the AC to DC through rectifiers or chop off DC wave for voltage or current control. So these all may cause the harmonics. So in a grid, harmonics are caused by the high voltage DC stations, HVDC stations, and which convert the AC to DC, and that from DC to AC. So this harmonics also indicate that about the quality, power quality or quality of electrical supply. So these should be eliminated. In a distribution system, harmonics are caused by the power supplies like inverters, through which the power is supplied to computers to all the household appliances using digital technology, which have are a part of our life. So this is these inverters and power supplies. This may also cause the harmonics. So as per the provision of standards laid down in the regulations for technical standards for connectivity to the grid, the limits for the individual and total harmonics distortion have been given. That means there are standards that what should be the limit of this harmonic, up to what it can be tolerated in the system. Otherwise, it has to be eliminated, and we have to use devices to eliminate these harmonics. So we have discussed these issues: the frequency, voltage, and the harmonics. These are the major parameters which can judge the supply and the quality of the supply. Now, what does grid management involve? Grid management involves forecasting. That means you should know about the demand pattern, what will be the demand pattern of the some state, or if how much load they will connect in the system. So the load forecasting is should be there. It involves the part of the grid management. Then planning that outage. It may, because during the management it may require some kind of planning. There may be some outage. The unit commitment, resource scheduling, that which resource should be used, so which to be scheduled that this time or this time at to supply a power. So this comes under the planning. Then coordination between the stakeholders. This also comes under the grid management. Stakeholders are the generating stations, then the load dispatch centers, the persons, then substations person, then the this load dispatch centers. This all there should be a proper coordination for the supply control. Then supervision of the grid parameters. This comes under the grid management. So the operation can be the real-time operation and so real-time operation and control for optimum utilization of available resource in a grid. It involves the scheduling, monitoring, and restoration of the grid. And offline operation planning involve grid security issues, restoration of the grid, and commercial issues or billing. I will discuss these in a later stage in the second part of this session. So the load dispatch centers is primarily responsible for the management of the grid, its various functions. What are these functions? These functions are we say that ex ante. This is the Latin term meaning beforehand. That means these are the functions which is taken care beforehand, and one are the real-time operations, and other are the post facto. Post facto means that that after the fact. So these what are these functions? So we can divide the grid management functions in three parts. One is beforehand, one is real-time, and one is after the fact. So what are these functions? If we say the functions which are required beforehand, these are forecasting demand for the forthcoming period, then scheduling of resources at disposal, then we can say the planning the grid element outage like the generator, maintenance, etc. So these are all planned beforehand, or providing the open access transmission corridors. So these all are, that means that forecasting and that which resource is to be used, the scheduling of the resource, these all are required beforehand. Then the real-time function, grid management functions are the resource rescheduling as and when required. It is done real-time basis. Then implementation of proper contract of service as entitled. Then supervising and controlling grid parameters. This is done on a real-time basis, like all the parameters, voltage, frequency, harmonics, these all are supervised and controlled. Then ensuring the real-time balancing of resources. Then ensuring the grid security and reliability, coordinating the outage and load shedding, and ensuring the proper power quality. This is also done real time, comes under the real time function. Then minimizing the losses and optimizing the resource utilization, and tackling emergencies. So these all are comes under the real time function of the grid management. Then what are the post facto or the management functions? So like these are after the facts. So these are the reporting the events occurring in the grid operation. Various kind of events occur. So it is necessary that they should be proper recorded. So and they should be reported. Then analyzed the event that occurred. Then collecting the energy meter data for the energy auditing accounting purpose. That means and processing the data collected, energy accounting as I mentioned, and operation of that unscheduled interchanges account, and receive or reactive energy account. So these all are the grid management functions. So with this, I'm ending this session. We have learned about the very important aspects of grid management, and we have learned that what is grid management, and what does grid management involve. So you have got some idea about this, what is the function of the grid and how it is managed. This all comes under the power distribution system. So thank you, learner, and in the next session we will see the some part like what is the load scheduling, what is load dispatch or load shedding. So all these aspects will be discussed in the next session, and which then you will, this will also be very clear to you that how the grid is managed, and more detailed discussion will be held in the next session. Thank you.